a wonderful place existed.
The Athenians called it the Acropolis. Free expression, ethics, art, philosophy. The Acropolis heralded the democracy. But if I told you the Acropolis has returned. Acropolis News. News from the Acropolis.
The Biden economy is going completely wrong. My name is Trevor Brown, and you're watching The Trevor Report. One of the things you quickly learn when you elect neocon, neolib uniparty candidates like Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Mitch McConnell, Alexandria Ocasio-Robespierre, etc., is that these people do not care for you. And the vast majority of the GOP, right, Grand Old Party, okay, they're all basically the same club, and that seems like a weird thing to start off with when I have an article from Politico in front of me where it's basically saying that the GOP is calling for the law to be applied equally while it's not being applied equally. Because here's the thing: the GOP knows very well that the Democrats currently have the reins of power, okay, and so they're just saying this. Where were the people? Where were the governors to say this when this was happening in the moment? Now here's the thing. I have an excuse of not saying this in the moment, which is my show is a political archivist podcast. Okay. Right? I'm not Kyle Kalinske. I don't as soon as I see something show up on my feed, I don't immediately start talking about it because I want to be able to give a little bit more nuance. I want to be able to put a bunch of things in one video so that someone can come across one of my shows, 20 to 30 minutes, and get a neat, nice rundown of things right in the morning while they have their coffee or whatever. I don't drink coffee because I think coffee is disgusting, and I've had that opinion since I was a child, and I will never change on that opinion. Coffee is terrible. Anyway, so the point I'm trying to make, and you'll sort of see this throughout the video, the neocon, I'm going to be talking about Democrats a lot, but when I say Democrats, understand that I mean the neocon, neolib uniparty, because the Republicans are just the Democrats going the speed limit, and that's not when they just flat out agree with them. Okay, flat out agree with them. So basically, when the neocon, neolib uniparty isn't just, when they're not playing a bunch of pseudo partisan games, right? The sort of faux partisan games, right? They're doing this. Feds investigating Musk's late disclosure of Twitter's stake report. So basically, Elon Musk reported the stocks, the shares that he bought on Twitter later than he was supposed to. Which, okay, I really don't see what the big deal is on that. That's sort of a nonsense issue. What I care a little bit more about is babies being fed and not starving, right? Because I won't get ahead of myself. Illegal immigrants first to get pallets of hard to find baby formula. The nationwide shortage of baby formula has sent mothers desperately rushing from store to store has evaded one lucky group. Illegal immigrants detained by Border Patrol. According to videos posted by Florida lawmaker, the Biden administration has been shipping pallets of baby formula to migrant holding facilities. They are sending pallets of baby formula to the border, said Republican Representative Kate Kamek in one of two online postings yesterday. Meanwhile, in our district at home, we cannot find baby formula, she added, holding a photo of empty shelves where the baby formula would be. And you can see her talking about it on her Facebook Live. It's like she has like a 14-minute long video to talk about that. You could do that in less time or whatever and get back to work. But anyway, Kamek said that the border agent sent her photographs of the deliveries and she posted are online. They are receiving pallets and more pallets of baby formula at the border, she said, holding one of the photos showing both Advantage brand formula and Go-Go Squeeze applesauce. Quote, this was taken at Ursula Processing Facility in McAllen, Texas, where thousands are being housed and processed and then released, said Kamek. She said that her agent told her, quote, Kat, you would not believe the shipment I just brought in. He has been a Border Patrol agent for 30 years, and he has never seen anything quite like this. He is a grandfather, and he is saying that his own children can't get baby formula, which... big yikes from the Democrat Party. Like, okay, why are you giving baby formula to the people at the government's first responsibility, and what plenty of people would be the only priority, okay, is the flourishing of the citizens. So if all the store shelves have a particular product that a lot of parents use to feed their babies, okay? Because here's the thing: if you're a mother, right? If you don't like immediately start breastfeeding, okay, it's very difficult for a baby to to go from formula to breastfeeding. Now, it's very, very easy to go from breastfeeding to formula, but it doesn't quite work the other way around. So a lot of the babies that are been given formula because their mom works or whatever, and sometimes the mother has difficulty producing milk, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so what? They're gonna go to a bunch of economic migrants down at the border. I was like, okay, fine, whatever. But there's this, and usually I have 5 segments. Okay. So in the description, like I'll have like five topics. Okay. I have 3 topics. Okay. And I've dedicated 3 whole segments as one segment because my God, the economy is terrible. Now I'm just going to add this caveat. I'm not an economist. I'm not in an economy, content creator by any stretch of the imagination, but but here's the thing: I will talk about it from a politics perspective and from a personal perspective, in a bit later on in this larger segment, as it were. But the current price of gasoline, as we can see right here, is $4.21 a gallon. Okay, when gas is more expensive, that makes it more costly to ship gasoline everywhere, which then raises the price of gasoline, which makes it even more difficult to ship the gasoline, etc., 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 etc. Okay, this is a snowballing effect. When the price of gasoline is very expensive, it makes it more difficult to ship the price of gasoline. Okay, and that's just in the realm of gasoline. Now imagine if, say, everyone in the country has less energy because there's less food to go around. Okay, the supply chain is so much more than like a couple fast food joints being out of like 1 or 2 particular things, or your local Apple store or whatever not having the latest iPhone. What I just said is something that I have to explain to coastal elites, to everyone else, all of the normal people. That is a rather easy thing to comprehend. Okay, but you'd think that with gas prices being this high on average, okay, now imagine living in California, which is on average $1 to $2 more than the rest of the country, which is insane because we have this gas tax in order to pay for our infrastructure, as it were. When gas prices are this high, and you're the president, because whatever reason, when we want to drill for oil, we need to get the president's permission because reasons, would you say yes or no? If your goal was to get reelected and not burn the country to the ground, right? Would you clear more licenses to drill oil? Yes or no? The answer is, of course, yes. Okay, but Biden, being a senile old fool, did the Butch Hartman of the sort of Butch Hartman routine of, and then the opposite happens. Biden admin cancels massive oil and gas lease sale amid record high gas prices, which is a stupid thing to do. Is a very, very stupid thing to do. Okay, but here's the thing: when the economy is bad, when inflation is really bad, as we're about to get into, the national debt is really high, as we're about to get into. Okay, the people's investments, when those go down, it'll exacerbate all the consequences for everything else. The S&P 500 is dropping again, but a chart analyst doesn't see signs of a bottom yet. Okay, the S&P index, okay, has dropped consecutively for 5 straight weeks. It is very bad. It is very, very not good. The U.S. is $30 trillion in debt, which is very bad. Very, very not good. Very, very the entire Uniparty's fault, okay? If the Uniparty would stop spending money, okay, then we would, you know, we would be in better shape. You know, pretty simple. And then one of my anonymous reporters over on Acropolis News Network basically came to me after he'd read a bunch of corporate press articles, and he's basically said that his takeaway is from reading those corporate press articles is that inflation is worse than expected, but not a 40-year high. Okay. And let me just say for like that is a wild statement. Okay, that's also a wild situation to be in. Okay, that's basically saying now inflation is pretty bad. Okay, in fact, it's even worse than we said that it was probably going to be, but it's not the worst it could possibly be. That's a win? Shut up. That's obviously not a win, okay? But then we have to go even further. Product shortages and soaring prices reveal fragility of U.S. supply chain. I already brought up basically what this article goes into. You know, a little bit further back into this report. So I'm just gonna move on. And in the midst of all of this, amidst of supply chain crises, okay, inflation, national debt raising out of control, people's investments being burned to the ground, neocon, neolib, uniparty infighting. What does the neocon, neolib, uniparty propose? What does the Democrats propose? And yes, Mitch McConnell is a Democrat, just going the speed limit. Giving $40 billion, yes, $40 billion to Ukraine. Why? Why do they need the money that we clearly need to fix our own problems? Why do they need this money more than us? Why can't they just create their own equivalent of the 1914 Federal Reserve Act and print themselves the $40 billion to make themselves the weapons? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Okay? Like, we're not in a position to help a foreign country with a foreign war. And that made my position on the Russia-Ukraine conflict perfectly clear. All previous Trevor reports linked down below in the description, etc., etc., etc. But we got to continue with the economy, okay? Because the economy is just yikes, massive yikes. But now there's a thing where the corporate press was making a big deal out of what I believe. Again, I'm not an economics creator. I am a political commentary creator, and the reason why I say, if you see it on screen, there is a clickable link down below in the description, is because of exactly this. But anyway, Coinbase warns customers that they could lose their crypto if company goes bankrupt. Coinbase has warned users that their cryptocurrency could be at risk if the exchange ever went bankrupt. So if they went bankrupt, then the servers that they host, where my crypto wallet is, if I don't take those crypto assets to a different server before those servers shut down, I could lose my investments. Wow. I should freak out about this. It's so scary. The font at the top is bold. The cryptocurrency exchange included a new disclosure to its customers in its first quarter earnings report earlier this week. Quote, because custodially held crypto assets may be considered to be the property of a bankruptcy estate, in the event of a bankruptcy, the crypto assets we hold in custody on behalf of our customers could be subject to bankruptcy proceedings, such as customers could be treated as our general unsecured creditors, the warning states. This is a statement Coinbase needed to make because of a requirement made by the U.S. and Securities Exchange Commission, which said these disclosures are necessary so customers are informed about their investments. Founder and chief executive of Coinbase, Brian Armstrong, took to Twitter to reassure customers that the company is not at risk of bankruptcy. We have no risk of bankruptcy. However, we included a new risk factor based on the SEC requirement called SAB 121, which is a newly required disclosure for public companies that hold crypto assets for third parties. So basically, the law changed so that you have to inform the people who have a particular kind of investment of something that's fairly common sense. I don't like everything's fine. Stop freaking out, corporate press. But I do know why the corporate press is freaking out, and it's because this is very sensational, right? But the problem is with this sort of sensational stuff relating to Coinbase, if you have assets on Coinbase, which I do, right? When I first saw this on the news, I freaked out. Which, given my choice of profession, I probably should have known that there was something more to this, and that there was something probably related to it. That means that it's not a very big deal, and that's exactly what happened. It's exactly what happened. Okay, but this isn't the first time the Biden administration has tried to be scary and scare the crypto community. I don't like referring to it as a crypto community because, to be honest, it's a lot like the I guess Attack on Titan community, Doctor Who community, like et cetera, okay? Quick rant, okay? Gonna do it in less than a minute. It's okay to just like something without like trying to join a community for a thing. Okay, you can just say I like the show. You can just say I like having alternatives to the U.S. dollar in my possession in case something happens to an international reserve currency. Okay, which yikes. But it's just one of those. It's just one of those things where, look, it's fine. Stop freaking out. But we got to move on to the final segment of this Trevor report. But before I get into that, be sure to take a look and check out this video's sponsor. This segment of the Trevor Report is sponsored by NordVPN. Click the affiliate link down below in the description in order to experience all of NordVPN's wide-ranging offers that help protect you and your internet privacy at an affordable price. Did I say sponsor? I meant to say segment. But anyway, let's continue. Okay, Daily Mail articles are really unnecessarily long and go into I don't want to say thorough, just long detail, and I got other parts of the segment that I want to get into, and I don't want this video to be longer than 30 minutes because I know people who are watching this, you probably got to go to work, you probably got you have a life outside watching content. This is why I've made this out since the get-go. I do not have a community of viewers. I have an audience of viewers. Okay, so anyway, let us continue into this debauchery. Colorado school where a teacher tricked girl 12 into attending trans identity class admits it was meant to be held behind parents' backs. District seeks $95,000 a year LGBT chief for all grades as mom is forced to send daughter to $8,000 private school, which is a sucky situation. Okay, but there's also this. A fourth grade teacher said that her students are queer because she is queer, which is her words. And it's also implying that she is grooming children. Now, under the anti-groomer bill, the Parental Rights in Education bill that Ron DeSantis signed into law, right? You can't talk about raunchy butt sex in secret, where you make sure that those preschoolers don't tell their parents about the conversation that you had with that preschooler in secret about the raunchy butt sex that you had with your boyfriend, right? You can't do that for first graders, second graders, or third graders. Fourth graders, on the other hand, you can do it with fourth graders because I don't know why. I don't know why it's not also extended to fourth grade and fifth grade. And like, a teacher should not be having a conversation about their sexual experiences with minors and then tell them not to tell their parents. But whatever, fine. Okay, fine. This is how you act. This is how you behave. Fine. I don't record audio on desktop audio on the Trevor Reports because I have a lot of subscriptions to particular services, and it's constantly dinging. Okay, I have these earbuds on for show. Okay, I have my hat backwards. Okay, it's not because I'm trying to look cool, okay? It's because I'm trying to hide my mullet because I haven't gotten a haircut in, I think, like 6-7 weeks. So I got that hair in the back that's growing because my hair grows really quickly, so I'm just trying to hide that. But anyway, we got to move on even further. Kindergartners sent home with masturbation assignment. 4-year-olds at an Alert Bay, British Columbia school, 4-year-olds were reportedly given this homework assignment on touching their private body parts. The worksheets ask students to draw pictures of places in their home where they can masturbate privately. 4-year-olds. Here's the worksheet the children were asked to complete. Some children like to touch their private body parts, and some children don't. Children are not inherently sexual, you decrepit pedophilic... God, there's not enough insults on the planet. Not enough insults on the planet. What places in your home are private? Draw a picture of the private places where you can touch your penis or vulva if you wanted to. All families have different rules about masturbation. Touching your own private parts, because they're toddlers, so you have to explain to them what masturbation means. Talk to your trusted grown-ups about your family rules, right? Not parents. Not parents. Naturally, the parents are very upset about this. And apparently the incident is under investigation because of course it is. But anyway, Let's continue. Dr. Samantha Busa, a licensed child psychologist at NYU, gave training on caring for trans youth. She says we have to teach young kids about gender and sexual orientation because even babies, quote, play with their genitals because it feels good while still in their mother's womb. I would just like to say that there is an aspect of queer theory, yes. That is what it's called. That is what the ideological text is called, okay? They believe that children are inherently sexual. And the reason they believe that children are inherently sexual is because there is a guy named John Money. I've explained this story before. All previous Trevor reports linked down below in the description. Blah, 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 okay? Long story short, the guy, John Money, found an instance where there was a botched circumcision of one of a set of twins, okay? He then, in his brilliant and almighty excellence, right, his very greatness, decided that it was a proper, good idea to tell the parents to say, okay, cut off the rest of this baby's genitals and raise him as a female. They did that for a number of years. He recorded the he recorded the baby boy dressed as a dressed as a woman, and his brother, and he filmed them having sex and doing various disgusting sexual, like, pornographic stuff, and he filmed them doing this, and he did it for years. And long story short, the kid ended up committing suicide. When there were a bunch of parents that found out about this, he called those parents fascists, right wingers who just hate gay people, etc., etc., etc. All the stuff we're hearing now, and basically, after all of his findings, he basically, after all of this data he collected, he basically just went, and by data I mean child pornography, he went question mark, children are inherently sexual, question mark, I've invented this term called gender. Okay? And that's the origins of queer theory. There's also, insert your favorite French political and philosophical scholar in the early 20th century, signing a petition to lower the age of consent in France from the ripe old age of 14 to the much more sensible and rational 12, which, yikes, big yikes, very, very not so good, very, very bad indeed. Anyway, in the meantime, my name is Trevor Brown, and you've just watched the Trevor Report. Do click the Linktree that I was forced to make by myself down below in the description, because Linktree banned my Linktree for opposing black nationalism. Long story down below in the description. All of you brilliant viewers out there, my name is Trevor Brown. I am the editor-in-chief of Acropolis News Network, because I can give myself whatever name and title I want because I own it. You could go to theacropolisnews.com, or you could go to ThisJustTrevor on whatever Liberty platform is your choice. You know, except for the ones I'm not on, because I haven't seen them pretty much.
Acropolis News. News from the Acropolis.